Hello! I'm coming to you to answer your gardening questions or at least one of the big gardening questions that you guys had when I asked about a week ago. And the big question was, where do I start? So I thought I would show you guys how to start seeds, or at least one of the ways that I start seeds. I usually soak them overnight. I like to soak seeds overnight just because it softens that outer shell and it helps them sprout way faster. You can also put them in a wet paper towel and pre-soak them that way too, but today I'm just going to be direct sewing them into this container. And also I'm going to be direct sowing squash. So I never start squash in a container just because it really does not like to have its roots disturbed, and also if it becomes root bound, it's really bad for the plant. So squash I like to just direct sow straight in the ground. And what's easy about squash is the seeds are huge. I mean, they're big. They're really big seeds. So kind of hard to screw up, which is kind of nice when you're a beginner gardener starting with something that you can be successful at. So that was another question that you guys asked, what plants are easy to start for a beginner, and squash is a really good one, especially if you like squash. I never suggest starting plants that you don't even like. Always plant what you like to eat. So what I'm going to plant in this guy today is eggplant, 2 varieties of tomatillos. The thing with tomatillos is that you have to plant 2 plants. So if I want to plant this guy, I have to plant 2 plants of it so that it pollinates. If you only plant 1, you're not going to get any fruit. So with tomatillos, 2 plants each. I'm going to be planting some chamomile and some tomatoes as well. Some cherry tomatoes and these black tomatoes, which are delicious. I start tomatoes throughout, probably for the next few weeks. Like, I already have tomato plants started out in my garden, but I like to start tomatoes every few weeks because one year I planted all of my tomatoes at once, and then what happened was they all were ripe at the same time, and we had 50 billion 1,000 tomatoes, and it was way too many tomatoes. And so I've learned to stagger my planting, and I do that with all of my plants now. These are what I'm going to plant today. Oh, and also I'm going to plant flowers for my work and for my garden. So this is the container that I like to use to start lots of plants at once. You cannot grow your plants in here for forever though, because the cells are so tiny that the plants will become root bound really quickly. But it's a nice place to start, and then take them out and put them into a larger container, and they can last there a little bit longer. Or you can take them directly from here and put them straight into your garden, depending on what the season is, or how long you want your starts to be in a container. So I like this guy because not only can you start a lot of plants, but also it makes it really easy to bottom water. Bottom watering seeds, especially ones that are tiny, are really important, because if you just pour your water on top, you can wash away your seeds, and then none of your plants will start. You'll be looking like, why haven't my plants started? And it's because you literally washed the seeds away. So this thing comes out, so you put your dirt in here, right? Then your seeds, and it has holes at the bottom so that the water comes from here. So this is in here, and I water there. And then the plant sucks up the water from the bottom, keeping it moist the entire time, which is kind of nice because if you forget a day or so, you don't have to worry about your plants drying out because they're always kind of sitting in water. Now, you don't want to soak them in water, but this is a good way to go. Also, it has this nifty cover, keeps the humidity in. You can adjust the humidity here on top. I've got this on Amazon. I'll see if I can get a link for you guys, but this is a really cool way to start. But you can start your seeds in anything that you have available. Egg cartons, anything. Don't limit yourself or get too bogged down on all of the tools. Gardening should just be fun. I've planted in anything, everything, and you name it, I've done it. So anywho, I'm going to show you guys how to plant all of these today. Okay, so make sure you always start with a clean container. So if this is brand new, it should be okay, but if you use this the season prior, make sure you go through and you disinfect and clean the container that you're going to use. I like to use just an organic potting mix. I use G&B Organics. And so essentially, you just start filling up your cells. Okay, so once they're all filled, I'm going to make sure they're kind of nice and not super tight packed in, but you want to give them a good little tap on the top to make sure the dirt doesn't depress all the way down, like halfway down into the cell. So I got all of my dirt in, and so now it's time to do some seeds. I go through and I make a little depression. So I'm gonna do my plants by rows. So here's my tomatillos. Put them on my hand. I usually plant a couple of seeds per cell. And if more than one seed starts, especially with tomatoes, I will clip every plant except the strongest one. So I let them grow together for a while, like 3 seedling starts, and whichever one is the strongest is the one that I leave. So 3 seeds per cell, and then I just go through and I lightly cover them. Camera died. I went through and I did label these just so I know what I'm growing. And now I'm gonna finish planting. Eggplant. So I'm doing every other cell. Okay, so once you have filled up your container with your seeds and your dirt, you go ahead and water that bottom tray. I went through and I did label everything. My camera died, so I didn't get to show you how I did that. Sorry about that, but it's really easy. I just used tape and paper and labeled everything. Now I just pull down the side. They're really malleable, and fill up that bottom tray with water. And then I'll come back in about 45 minutes to check and make sure that all of the water in here has been sucked up and all of the dirt is nice and moist. I put my cover on and check my seeds every single day. So yeah, that is how you start seeds.